create an example. All typologies of condition. The first group is quick thinkers. As you can see from the name, understand the task very well. They dive in instantly, and it takes them a day or two to sort out everything. They don't need to understand everything that is happening with the business of the project. They just do their task. It may happen that you need to do some additional do some additional work after them to avoid some bugs and integration. And the deep divers, they go deep, they Google every word, they consider all the dependencies, integrations, and so on. But it may so happen that at the end of the sprint they need another sprint to complete the task because who do you think is the best tester from you? Who likes the quick thinkers more? Please raise your hand. I will get one here. Who thinks deep divers are the best? Yeah, there are some people among us, yes. What's the point? My point is that all of them are great. The question is whether they're doing their task. All of them are good for the project. But the quick thinkers require jobs that don't need to go deep, and you need to be quick with them. At the same time, you need to get a feedback. They usually work well in the condition of unpredictability, quick changes. The deep is like a stable environment. They like the detailed work, and their evaluations will be much more precise than that of the first group, and they could help with the next phases of the project. The conclusion here is that both groups are needed, depending on the tasks we have at hand. Let's look at another group of antagonists, the ambitious ones and the stable ones. The ambitious ones, depending on just like the name says, they want to assume more responsibility and they want to get more interesting tasks. Very often, if you ask the testers, what an interesting task for you, they say it's the task that I haven't done yet. At the same time, it's difficult for them to work with them when you need to do some routine tasks like regression, or they perform the tasks that they believe are boring. As far as the stable ones are concerned, it's the other way around. They work very well. They know the tasks they do well. There's several tasks of them, several kinds of them. For example, I worked with a girl who made a test design that could be exhibited, shown to people. But it was difficult for her to do some technical tasks. It was a problem. Indeed, with the second category, there are difficulties with motivating them doing the new tasks. Is any of them a bad tester? No, obviously not. It's more about balancing the tasks and giving them the proper tasks. The ambitious ones should work with regression, for example, even though they never work with metrics. There could be a new task for them. And for the stable ones, it's great to give them a new task in the framework already, a known functionality. For example, looking at backend. and the people would feel comfortable doing that. Let's look at another pair. I can usually call them technicians and analysts, which is obvious. Well, obviously from the name, the technical guys really like to do the technical tasks. The less UI, the better. Why you bring me your test cases, automation, and all those approaches? They need to get a new task fast. Very often they have the bugs that they disregard, for example, or do not see. And sometimes they don't go deep into the business context and don't really get into why within this app. They just want you to get the task. The analysts, at the same time, are good at understanding the new things and the connections, but they can ignore some technical details. Or they don't really like performing the task that are not directly connected with their. Does anybody think that the technicians perform tasks that are more complicated than the analysts do? Right, okay. That without analysts the projects would collapse. Who thinks so? There are people like that, Manas, yes. Well, I think an ideal tester should combine both these qualities. But let's ask ourselves the question, what is an ideal tester? Every project may perform a number of tasks at each project. The great thing here is that all people are different, tasks are different, and you can use different skills. All these typologies mostly tell us that something about the people who came up with them, not about the people who labeled them. I didn't recognize myself as any of the types. Of course, they show that we all consist of different qualities. Some are better shown, some are shown not so much. But my idea here is that if you know your strong suit, you know how to work with them, you'll be a good tester. You know the task that you need to tackle. With a bad testers either don't do testing, or they don't go to their job. Instead of conclusion, I say just look for strong sides, do the testing. If you know about your weak sides, strengthen them, and remember that you're a good tester. And a bonus from me, bonus advice to the beginning leads. If you think that some of your team members don't work very well, just think maybe you should adjust the tasks you give them to them, and if you understand the motivation well. That's it from me. Thank you very much. Any questions? Hello, thank you. Irina, the rival company. Do you think you're a good tester? Which of these types do you have more of? Well, I can be a good tester when I do the testing. When I don't, I'm not a great one. I've been testing quite rarely recently. I think I'm number one here, and second type here. I don't like automation very well, and I like to do it manually. So I basically copied all the minuses, all the negatives from me. Any more questions? Hello, my name is Artyom. Thank you for your presentation. There was a screen with ambitious ones and the stable ones. I know they personally improve their strong sides, but let's imagine a situation. But at the end of the cycle, there's a release, and the ambitious guys don't really uh, not are great at tackling them. So the question is whether they should grow not only by working on their ambitiousness and stability, but also to become more universal. What do you think about this skill being universal? Or should they concentrate on the strong side alone? I think that the question is quite simple. Universal soldiers is great. But I think that without a doubt you should work on your weak side. If we give you example with about ambitious ones and stable ones, there are time management techniques that as an example, if you have a team consist of ambitious people, you have a problem with putting together a team because the team must be balanced. There must be people with different good sides. This is my personal problem that I encountered being a team lead when I hired people who wanted more. I understood that they really want more and it's interesting for them, but I have a problem. Nobody wants to do the regression testing. The ambitious person may get demotivated by simple and routine tasks. It's better to have people with different strong sides, but consider that your team does have some weak sides, and you need to also compensate for them. Thank you, my name is Tatiana. Were there any reverse situations when the testers try to prove to you that they're great, they're good? Well, I think the lion's share of the testers have the imposter syndrome, and your work as a manager is to convince people that you're fine, you're doing fine, you're working fine, you shouldn't really fret about that. Of course, I've had my questions to the work of my colleagues. Obviously, you need to work on the PDP, PIPs, but never happened that I told people they were bad testers. Thank you, Natalia. Can a process help put together a team from different people? Do processes help here? I think that the question is enough to answer in a separate presentation. I don't have a quick response for that. I think you need to analyze the task at hand, the requirements in terms of human resources and people, the difficulties. It's difficult at the very start of the project say that I need people within that psychological type because I task like this. There are small projects when we need a universal soldier that will cover all your problems. Otherwise, it's just a constant analysis as to whether your team is effectively working. When your team doesn't work properly, it means that Probably I, as a team lead, doesn't do something well enough. That's the idea. Right, I think we need to select the person with the best answer. Right. Tatiana. Thank you.